Hey, good people. So listen, I'm not sure how many of you guys will catch me live because it is officially 12:17 a.m. Saturday, May 14th. And listen, for those of you who follow me, if you don't follow Covered by God by Tiffany Montgomery, I encourage you to. There's gonna be another session at 5 a.m. So I need to be back up at 5 a.m. But I just finished an event. It's called C4. And then after I came upstairs, then my oldest brother called me, and then I talked to one of my other friends, and I was like, man, I want to come on really quick and share with you guys about the power of conversation. So, to all of you that's going to catch this later, God bless you. If you catch it because I'm sending it out in the news list, hey, thank you so much for checking it out. And for those of you who I'm not a part of the news list. So some of you may or may not know by now, but I'm no longer on social media. I only kept my YouTube page up. And I will never be controlled by algorithms. I'm never going to be controlled by people because there are certain platforms. It's like, well, you only have 30 days and then your whole account is going to be deleted. And I'm okay with that. If I decide I'm not coming back in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, a whole 365 days, I'm not going to allow somebody to dictate and determine that, because at the end of the day, if you know how to build relationships, if you know how to create community, you can start over and do that at any time you want. And so if you're not a part of the news list and you want to be in the know, because I've been able to email and share information to people who have connected with me, either been to an event that I've done in times past, or signed up for like a writing challenge that we've done in times past, or you just got on the list, then you knew that I wasn't on social media and you kind of known the things that I've still been doing. And so if you want to join the email list, you will go to this website right here, https:// the studentteacher.info/join the email list. And that way you can always stay in the know of what I'm doing, or I'm just sharing out inspirational messages and out happy Mother's Day emails, or just sharing a story with you guys because I love a good story. And so I want to talk about tonight about C4. This is something that I cultivated a couple weeks ago, and our first meetup was tonight. Our first in-person meetup was tonight. This is my first event that I've had in person, live event, in-person event since 2019. And when the world shut down, of course, in 2020, people weren't doing too many in-person things. And of course, 2021, I didn't do an in-person event. I'm not even sure why. And then, of course, 2022, and it wasn't because I was afraid or scared at all, because I was still doing what I wanted to do, even in the midst of all of that. But tonight was my first night. So what's the day? May 13th, it was Friday, May 13th. 2022 is my second oldest brother's 46th birthday. And so it was a special day. But I wanted to share with you guys what C4 is. And so the next time we have the meetup in June, perhaps you will be a woman that's going to be a partaker of it. So C4 is a curated event where women will be celebrated genuinely for who you are. It's a curated event where women will meet other women. I don't know if you ever met women who say, I don't deal with other women. I don't have women friends. I've had women to do me wrong. I had people in my family that were women who do me wrong. So I don't really trust women like that. Like, that's a real thing. And so this is a space where other women can meet other women. And so it's a curated event where women will learn resources to improve the outcomes one desires in your life. And that could be from ministry to marriage to men, to, your career to business. And obviously, I'm not an expert in all of those things, but I'm connected to people who are, and I'm going to give you as much as I can and then hook you up with those other resources within the community. And so it's a curated event where we will come together, women will come together, and we will finish or create that one thing that we're working on. So if we're meeting in June, what is the thing you're executing on in June? And the same thing that you're working on in June, you may still be working on July, but as long as you're moving towards fulfilling that goal and actually doing something. There's a lot of people who talk about doing stuff, but they don't follow through. Procrastination has stifled a lot of people. So don't allow procrastination to be the reason why you don't get stuff done. And so I'm going to leave you guys with 6 things I shared with them tonight when it came to life principles. And the thing about when you create something, when you are that thing now is attracted to you. When you get in spaces where you open up and you lead, and by you leading, other people follow. And so when it talks about celebrate and conversate, the conversations tonight amongst those women were so rich. And because I started off and I shared so freely, because one of the points is I don't care what type of space you got. It could be the most luxurious space, or it could be the probably the most rundown space. But if you are a safe person, wherever you are, it transforms into a safe space. And because I'm a safe person, where we were is a safe space. And it's a beautiful community, beautiful setup. And so we enjoy all of the aesthetics and everything that was going on. And so, one thing I want to share with you guys is that when you are that thing that you are attracting, it's not hard for other people who see that and want that to be attracted to you. One of my sisters, she shared something on her YouTube page, Kingdom Styles. Her name is Billy, but she talked about starting over. She started over with clients 3 different times. And I am definitely in that phase of starting over. Like, I appreciate all the people that I worked with before. I appreciate some of the clients that I had, but I want a new set of clients now. I don't want the same old clients. And ironically, as I have changed and as I have grown, perhaps they have changed and grown too. So now what I have to offer, and they may be like, oh yeah, I'm ready for that next thing, right? And so, you know, when I look and set and I say, wow, I have a nurse here, a registered nurse here, and then I have this attorney, right? She was a judge and she was attorney. She's into law, and of course now she's an educator. So it's like, wow. I start thinking about one of my prayer partners. She's an attorney, and she transitioned from being an attorney to a stay-at-home mom, and now she's in education. So it's like, God, you're surrounding me with all the people now that I want to attract. And ironically, being in the educational system, you're around a lot of very smart and very intelligent people, but I wasn't attracting them towards the things that I was doing and growing as a business. And so now I am cultivating this community where we're going to have some really, really dope people. And it's not because of what they do, it's not because of the title that they carry, it's simply for the women that they are. And that was our thing tonight, is who are you as a woman? Not as a mother, not as a wife, not as an attorney, not as a nurse, but who are you as a person? And we cracked open who are you, and they shared. And the thing was, you share to your comfort level. I'm sharing to mine. And it just happens to be very transparent. But I'm sharing to mine, and it made them open up and share about them. And so now I know the person. And so then when we come back again the next time, it's like, okay, now that I know her as a woman, as a person, now when it's time to collaborate, when it's now time for her to create, or when there's things that I know that's happening or coming up, then I'm gonna keep her in mind, because now I know her as a person. I know part of her story, and I can say, hey, yo, I think this would be a good opportunity for you. Hey, yo, I think this would be, nice, a nice collaborative piece. So I want to share that with you ladies. If you're, or men, for men, you may want to sign your wife up for this, or your aunt, or your sisters, or your mother for this. Be solution oriented. There's a lot of times there's a lot of issues that may rise up every day, but be solution oriented. Be solution oriented. And then put time limits on your pity part. And this is something that I took from the 2 women tonight, right? Put a time limit on your pity party. And then when you talking to a man, be specific about what you want to talk to him about. Don't just say, I want to talk to you. Just tell him, I want to talk to you about, and be very specific. So those are the things that I took away from the women. But the 6 principles, the 6 life principles that I shared with them tonight. The first one, I'm gonna put it up here so you guys can see it. The first one is choose character over corruption. Choose character over corruption. Meaning, no matter what's going on, what people are doing around you, systems and plans in place. Choose character over corruption. Don't allow what people have done to you. Don't allow what you have seen in the earth. Don't allow what you've seen in ministry or church or in your family or in the business sector or the career sector or the professional sector. Don't allow that to taint who you are as a person, your character. Choose character over corruption. And then we have to choose wisdom. Like some days things will pop up and you thinking, man, there's a different outcome, there's a different response I can have. But I'm telling you, wisdom is always as choose wisdom. That's whether you in the community with people, you're talking to people who have wisdom, who have experience in that area, you're reading books on it, reading documentaries, watching something, but choose wisdom. Like legit choose wisdom. And then here is the one that I think was really key. Close the gaps. Close the gaps. I don't know what your gap could be in life, but close them. I don't know what they could be, but close them. Close the gaps. I use the analogy tonight that if um, we in a room, say you're in a house or apartment, if the door is cracked and it's cold, or it could just be hot, even though the door is cracked a little bit, after a while, if it stays cracked, whatever temperature is on the outside of that door will now become the temperature on the inside of the door because there's a crack. You have to close your gaps. And so sometimes that doesn't mean focusing on, the big things you're doing well, but tightening up those small things that you could that could be issues. It will solve a lot of problems and will cause you to have a greater gain. So you got to figure out what those gaps are in your life and your ministry and your business and your relationships, and you have to close those gaps. Here is another one. I think this may be the second one. The perception of people doesn't define your true character. The perception of people does not define your true character. I know people have experiences with us. I know people can tell you some things, and maybe we said things or did some things, but the perception of what even people may think about when they see you online, or maybe with somebody, or conversating with somebody, or sharing something, but the perception of people doesn't define your true character. It doesn't. It may give off a idea of who you are or who your brand is or what you stand for, but the perception of people is not your character. So you got to make sure that you understand that the perception of people is not your true character. I always say this: believe the good in people, but believe the best in you. Believe the good in people, but believe the best in you. People, especially women, we second guess ourselves, and we're not sure we good enough and can we do it, but you can. Believe the good in people, but believe the best in you. Believe the good in people, but believe the best in you. Be a safe, and the last one is be a safe person. So wherever you go, you can create a safe space. Be a safe person. So wherever you go, you can create a safe space. And so I want to leave those things, these 5 life principles that we shared today. The conversation was so good. Introductions to these 3 amazing women. We're going to dig deep. The world is very funny how they take a lot of biblical principles and, use them and tailor them. Jesus was the first person that ever did intimate or inner, what they call, a lot of people call their masterminds now, or their small group coaching program, is inner circle. Jesus was the first example of an inner circle. He started with 12, then it went down to sometime he was with 2 or 3, right? That he pulled even closer. So I'm one where I like the smaller gatherings, but I also can roll with the large ones too. So Jesus knew how to have the small gathering. He had his disciples and he had his chosen 2 or 3, right? but then he also sat and taught the crowds, the multitudes. And so while I do, large speaking engagements and large crowds, I want to build something that's going to help change the trajectory of women and how we see each other and how we come together and how we talk. And, there's a lot of different programs out here. There's a lot of different avenues you can go to joining people, but it's not me. It's not with me. And it's not with the women that's going to be here. And so I'm excited and thrilled about this. So I wanted to come on and share this with you guys tonight. So when you see the flyers, when you read the emails about C4 for next month, don't just be like, oh, yeah, Mike said. I'm telling you, I'm going to share with you some of the testimonials, some of the things that these two ladies said about it tonight, because it's powerful, right? And you think about, I told them it's not about the quantity. It's not about the number. I want quality women that's a part. People who are willing to commit. People who are going to do the work. People who are willing to say, you know what? Let me share my story. Let me share my truth. Really, people who really want to get out of their comfort zone. I was so excited to see how it all went today. And it just flowed. The things they would naturally talk about, conversation with things I was actually going to talk about. And so, we get a little handout every time we come together, and we may or may not get it, but you walk away with the information that you need. You walk away with the connections that you have. And so I want to invite you guys to be a part of C4, where we celebrate, conversate, collaborate, and create a community of women growing deeper as women, as individuals, so we can grow wider as mothers, as wives, as business owners, as speakers, as authors, as entrepreneurs. And so I want to share it with you tonight, this morning, really, because now it is 12:34 a.m., March 14th, 2022. So I love you guys tonight with the love of the Lord. If you're not on the email list, go ahead and hop on the email list. You can go to my website, www.simnywallen.com. There's a form if you want to get your books, or to write a book, or do a collaboration this year. You go there. It'll be a place where it'll say set up a consultation with me. You can go there, and you can also go to www.prettyheal.com to get any t-shirts or hoodies or any of the books that we have done, that I've done and published. You can go there and order all of that. And so I love you guys tonight with the love of Christ, and I'll talk to you guys soon. But always believe the good in people, but believe the best in you. Believe the good in people, but believe the best in you. If you did not watch Speak Life last night, we had a guest, Latrice Simmons. She did an amazing job. Untroubled Mama. She talked about, the highs and lows of being a mother and being just a woman. She touched a little bit about domestic violence. It was a really, really amazing Speak Life next Thursday. It's going to be a little later, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. The one and only Mavis A. Creer. I met Mavis last year online, and we have been able to cultivate a really good relationship offline. So we talked about that. It's called brokering and banking relationships. And she told me when I reached out to her last night to share, hey, I want you to come on, and this is what God placed on my heart. Then she says, oh, I shared this before. Yeah, like I could do it. And I was so thankful, because outside of us just being friends to one another, that God was speaking. He was speaking to me to reach out to her, to ask her. So when we come on, we're speaking from, business women and sisters and friends, but it's really coming from a genuine place of, let's talk about how to build healthy relationships online, and then how that translates into what it looks like offline. So I'm excited for her to be here. If you did not catch me on the All Nations radio station yesterday too, we talked a lot about the school to prison pipeline. We listened to my single Exalted. So if you don't have Exalted, I'm not sure what you're doing. Boom, boom, boom. Go and download it now. It's available on all streaming platforms. And so, again, if you didn't catch Speak Life last night, that's Latrice. Please make sure that you go and you are tuning that in, and I will see if I can get Mavis's flyer for the next time I come on live. So if I'm not here until next Thursday, make sure you're tuning in 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to be a part of C4, collaborate, celebrate, conversate, and create, please send me an email, and I will give you all the information about all entails that we're going to do monthly meetups. We're going to have quarterly outings together. And this is an in-person thing. So if you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, or if you know you can travel in for one of those, it's going to be wonderful and great. Of course, we will have some virtual meetups and virtual trainings. But it's a way we're really going to dig deep and support one another. But first is supporting ourselves and getting to know or building upon who we are as women. So I'm excited. I love it. I love what God is doing, and I love what God is doing in your life as well as I love what God's doing in my life. So I want to share that, recap a little bit of what took place tonight. I'll share, stay close to the email because I'm going to share some pictures. I'm going to share some of the testimonies so you can see how much we really enjoyed ourselves tonight. And don't despise the days of small beginnings when you're doing something new. Everybody doesn't start off small, right? Everybody doesn't start off small, right? But I wanted to see the power in the email list. I want to see the power in just talking and connecting with people, the power of sending messages through my phone. So stay connected and see what we'll be doing next. And so I love you guys and have an amazing night and a great weekend. And I will talk to you